Hello everybody and welcome to Civ House. I'm Rob, and today we're going to be taking a look at the man, the myth. Well, he's not really a myth or a legend, but, well, he might be a legend. But his name is Machiavelli, and we're going to be taking a look at the three civs that I think best pair with him as you take him throughout history. But before we dive in, I'm going to ask that you guys make sure to like and subscribe so that you're not missing out on any of the new civilization content that we have coming out nearly every single day. And then let me know in the comments section below your opinions on Machiavelli and which civs that you think would pair best with him. To be clear, there are multiple civs that will pair well with pretty much all of these leaders. That's, something that's pretty much known at this point, but we're going to be giving, I guess specifically I am going to be giving my favorite ones to play with, I think arguably my favorite leader in the game. So let's start by taking a look at kind of what Machiavelli does, and we'll jump in then to each one of the civs. As a reminder, he is a diplomatic and an economic leader. No surprise here, especially when you read his leader bonus, El Principe, gain additional influence per age, gain a set amount of gold per age when your diplomatic action proposals are accepted, or even more gold per age when they are rejected. Ignore relationship requirements for declaring formal wars, and you can levy military units from city-states you are not suzerain of. So, look, his playstyle is going to be obviously down the economic path. There's a little bit of military in there as well, based on the fact that you can levy those units from those city-states, and you're going to be kind of putting yourself into a position where gold is going to dominate pretty much every single thing that you do in this game. And that's why we're going to be starting off here with our Antiquity Age Civ. And no, it's not actually going to be one that is based off of gold, but it's going to be one that's going to play actually into his influence bonus, and that's going to be the Greeks. This should really come as no surprise. It's a great pairing. You're automatically with the Civ ability getting +3 influence from your palace, right? Along with this, you're going to be getting the Logios, which is a unique unit that's going to give you a couple different things, just kind of as a random roll of the dice, right, for the most part. But you're going to get influence from a lot of them. You're going to get some culture, you're going to get some science, and a couple of them will help you out with military. But for the most part, the goal for creating those is going to be trying to get that influence so that you can really start stacking onto the different city-states, or whatever you want to call them. Along with this, you're going to be wanting to focus on making sure that you get the Pantheon and the Acropolis as soon as you can. The Pantheon obviously is going to give you that influence. It's going to give you the culture as well, which is very nice. And with the quarter being completed, obviously you need the Odeon as well, but the Acropolis is going to give you that +2 gold on the Parthenon for each city-state that you are suzerain of. The hope is going to be that on your main map, right, on your main continent, you're going to have at least a few city-states. If you play a heavily, city-stated game where you just, can ramp them up, right, especially in the future with, I think, mods will probably hopefully help with that a little bit. That's going to be very much something that you can lean into and be pretty content with. Along with this, it's really going to be more focused on, hopefully getting that Symmachia as well. That's going to give you that +1 city limit, so that if you decide that you want to go further with these city-states and turn them into your cities, that you're going to be able to do so. You're also going to have the opportunity to really start playing people. And what I mean by that is, the Hoplite's a pretty strong military unit in the early game. Especially if you can start kind of working your way through the civic and the tech trees. And, combining them together, allowing you for a really strong defense, and also being able to push forward should you need to, is very nice. But as Machiavelli, you don't necessarily need to go out and conquer a bunch of people. What you're really trying to do is get people or different players, or different leaders, depending on if you're playing against the AI or not, to really try to either go yes or no based on all of the different diplomatic actions that you're going to be doing with them. And this is a great opportunity, and you will see throughout these different civs, that's going to be the focus of them, right? Is that, yes, they're going to help with influence. This one obviously is going to help you kind of get those city-states really into a good space as you start your way through history, right? Playing as Machiavelli, but you also are going to have these units that are going to be strong together to help defend yourself should you start to piss off the wrong people. So that's kind of the way that we're going to go here with the Greek Civ. And now we are going to head into the exploration age, and the easy option here is going to be picking Spain, which is automatically unlocked by playing the Greeks. And look, Spain is all about getting money, right? As much money as you can, basically, and you're going to be going for those treasure fleets. I should mention during the Antiquity Age as well, getting resources really shouldn't be too terrible. I would say that it's honestly might be the easiest economic path of the three, so you should kind of be able to do that as well through your diplomacy. But we'll head back into Spain here, and obviously you're going to be wanting to focus very heavily on the distant lands, and I think Spain is as good as anybody for making that happen. The El Escorial as well, having that wonder is going to be very nice, giving you that extra settlement bonus. Then you also have that ability, Siglo de Oro, I believe is hopefully how it's pronounced, which, you get gold towards converting towns to cities, which, if you play your cards right and you have all of those, potential towns from those city-states early in the game, or you can kind of, keep them as city-states, just depends on how you want to play. You're going to be getting that, and you're going to be getting more gold when you do so in distant lands. And this is going to be, I think, really important for you, because as you're settling in those distant lands, as you are starting to kind of rack up those treasure fleets, there may be times where you are able to establish a city through your influence almost as quickly as sending over a unit. And what I mean by that is, I know I've had more than a few games where the coast is basically blocked off, and trying to get inside can be a little bit difficult, and establishing a city. So being able to do so through city-states, I think, is going to be hopefully helpful, and then allow you to take those towns into those cities. You have the Tertio, which is, a pretty strong early game unit, one that you can get pretty easily, and then as you're going through the tech tree, you can upgrade another one, of these civs like I talked about, where you want to have a strong military unit to go along with everything else, because with the influence, trying to get people to respond however you really want them to with your diplomatic actions is going to be important. Along with this, very similar to the Logios, right? You have the Conquistador, which is going to be giving you all of these different random, great persons who you can use. Some of them are going to really help you towards, achieving that goal of getting, those treasure fleets kind of working. Honestly, Ponce de Leon is going to be probably your best one that you really want to try to get as soon as possible. But you're also going to have Magellan, who I think can be very useful should you need him. Hernando de Soto as well is going to be very nice, as I'll read the exact example here. It activated in an independent power's territory in distant lands to make that independent power, so a city-state, with you as suzerain. So, that's pretty much one of the best ones that you could ask for. You continue working through, the different things like the Casa de Contrastion. I hope I am not butchering that too much. You're going to be getting and stacking all of that gold, and then your plaza is going to help you as you are working on things in distant lands as well. And lastly, I think, you got to work with the Council of the Indies, which is going to help you to get all your treasure fleets moving more quickly as well. This civ is made for the economic victory path here, legacy path, and it just makes sense to very, I think, quickly pair it with Machiavelli as you are working your way through history. So Spain is fantastic. You're going to be getting those treasure fleets rolling, and with all the gold that you're going to be getting as well, it's really not going to be hard for you to get those conquistadors, for you to get those tercios, so that you can either defend your lands at home or abroad. and hopefully, you will be able to really establish another part of your empire in the distant lands. Lastly, we are going to be talking a little bit about obviously the modern age, but there are two different civs that I think you could go with. It's going to really depend on kind of how your game goes. The first one, and I'm only going to mention this one briefly because this is not going to be the main one, but the Qing. They are, I think, tailor-made for somebody like Machiavelli. If you're starting in the modern age, this is a pretty good one, right? Because I keep forgetting this, but we got to look at the legacy path here first. But for modernization, obviously, you're going to be working towards getting your railroads set up, getting your factories set up, and trying to earn as many railroad tycoon points and all of that as you possibly can. That's the whole goal, right? And then at the end, you can do the World Bank, which is, obviously the entire point of the game for, achieving this. And I think the Qing, do a really good job at this because you're getting that gold, you are getting that influence, you're losing a little bit of science, but I don't really think that matters too much for Machiavelli. He's already not great at science, so leaning into what you're good at, gold and influence and culture for the most part, because it's kind of what you're getting as you're playing through the rest of this game with especially the Greeks. I think that this can be a really good one, but you have to have, he doesn't naturally kind of flow into it. You have to improve 3 jade resources, which is what kind of makes it a little bit more difficult because you can't guarantee that. It makes it a little bit too difficult. So it makes more sense for you to go into Great Britain, in my opinion. And that's because all you need to do is have 2 fleet commanders. If you're playing things right throughout the exploration age, you're going to have 2 fleet commanders as you head into the modern age with Great Britain. And wow, this is a really, really, really good civ in my mind for you to go with anyways. Obviously, for those of you who may not have the Crossroads of the World DLC as well, that's another reason why I mentioned the Qing. But, if you do, then you're going to be able to get Great Britain. And the Revenge is a really good unit. It's going to help you to defend your, overseas territories and your territories at home. I love the ability where, enemy units are taking adjacent damage, which I think is pretty crazy for them to add in the game. It's not a huge, amount of damage, but it can be very, very solid. In my opinion, the Antiquarian isn't great, I don't think, but where you really get into things are with the buildings. The Royal Exchange, you're getting that massive gold bonus. The Manufactory as well, you're getting that production, which I think is absolutely huge, if I'm being honest with you. The Unique Center ultimately ends up being pretty solid for the +2 gold for every connected settlement. Not going to be too upset about that one as you're kind of working your way through this last part of the game. But it's really when you start getting into these civics as well that things really start to do, I think, a lot more, in my opinion. So you can stack the Pax Britannica, which is going to allow you to get that production really rolling, which I think is obviously super important as you start to kind of build out your factories, as you're starting to get, the railroads and everything really working. And then you have, let me find it here, the chartered companies as well, which is really nice. The +1 resource capacity, I think, is fantastic. During my playthroughs, I've definitely enjoyed having that extra resource capacity. I know you have camels in the, and it can stack, obviously, especially in Antiquity. I think camels go away after that. I don't know right now. I'm having a total brain fart. I apologize, guys. But we'll move on anyways. The capacity is nice, but it's the splendid isolationism that I really enjoy. You're getting that settlement unit. That's always massive regardless of how you're playing somebody. And I think as Machiavelli, if you want to start converting those city-states that you've been working on, like, this is especially really good. At the start of your turn, you have positive gold, and your units are going to be getting that combat strength. There's no chance, if you're playing as Machiavelli and you're playing him even slightly correctly, that you're going to have a negative gold value. So all your units are going to be +3 combat strength across the board. That's absolutely outstanding. The last part of this as well is the Battersea Power Station. Actually kind of goes perfectly with what you were trying to do here. You're getting that production and you're getting those naval units. that you can use to really protect, your empire. So Machiavelli's great. I think he's a lot of fun. I think you can play through with all three of these civs and really have yourself a good time and really set yourself up well to get that world bank the way that you're going to be able to, win this whole thing. So you should be printing money throughout the entire time. Not only should you be doing it through all of the different ways through your civs, but you should also be doing it based on the influence that you are naturally gaining, and that you should have a good establishment as to what and who how to kind of play around, especially with the AI. So let me know what you guys think. Again, this was a little longer than I was anticipating, but I really wanted to dive into why each of these work really well, why they work well with the legacy paths, and why they ultimately work well with Machiavelli. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, but that's going to wrap it up for us. So from our house to yours, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join us for one more turn.